So let's jump in and just look at the court process reading and assignment. So here is the assignment page on Canvas. This a little bigger. Oops, I made the wrong thing bigger. Okay. So, right, you're going to read this and prepare, some sort of either visual diagram or a presentation of how it would progress from the initial trial court case, up through the levels, okay? Most of you have a Supreme Court case, which means it had a trial, it had an appellate, and then it had Supreme. A couple of you maybe just have a trial and appellate, and that's fine. Let's see here. So I've got this reading for court. That's like a 60-page reading that might help you, like remind you of like walking through the process. And you are welcome to look at that and enjoy that. And let me go to, let me share a different document. So what I prepared that's been attached the whole time is a nice document that will really kind of walk you through maybe the questions you want to ask yourself, the things you want to be able to answer about your case. Maybe that's a good way to think about it. What do you want to answer? What do you need to be able to answer about your case? So for trial court, who sued whom? You know what I mean? Like, how did this thing start? Was this like Roger's case? A dude who owns property sues the federal government because of the planes flying over. Is this Miranda versus Arizona, where a guy that's convicted sues the US government for violating his rights? Okay, so it could be pretty easy to figure out, but who started this business? What were the basic facts? So like, I know a team is doing Miranda, but let me use that one because it's in my head and it's easy for me. So Miranda versus Arizona, famous Supreme Court case that gave us the Miranda rights. We all know that. Okay, well, it started because Ernesto Miranda sued the United States, right? Sued saying he didn't get his full criminal procedure rights, okay? That would be kind of number one. Number two, what were the facts of the case? Well, Ernesto Miranda was convicted, I think, of a rape case. He was arrested. He gave an interview to the police where he admitted he did it. And then obviously, was tried and convicted based in part on that statement that he gave the police. Okay, so he was convicted of rape, he's in jail. Then he appeals, because of this. But those are the basic facts. Like, it's a rape case and he's appealing it. So what trial court was it heard in? I don't have it in front of me, but it's going to be some sort of, maybe district court in Arizona, maybe even started at state court, wherever he was convicted of the crime. The decision was he was guilty and that the confession comes in, okay? Any other interesting issues? I don't know. That's just sort of a wild card. Did anything come out? So appellate court for Miranda. I'm kind of making this up because I don't know. Arguably, Ernesto Miranda appealed the conviction to that mid-level appellate court. It's going to be Ernesto. He was the defendant at trial, okay? The main issue is whether or not that confession, that statement he gave the police, did that violate his, Fifth Amendment right to be silent, and at the same time his Sixth Amendment right to counsel, because he didn't really even understand what that meant, and maybe due process. I think the appellate court said it did not violate, and so from then, right, what happens? He appeals to the Supreme Court of the United States, and it's the same thing again, his same argument. Hey, all this violated my rights. If I had these rights, I wouldn't have given the statement. I wouldn't have been convicted. He appealed to the Supreme Court. That's the main issue is, if you're not told of your rights, right, does it violate? And so the decision, which you guys probably all know almost by heart, is that when you're being arrested, you have to be made aware of those basic rights. And if you think about your Miranda rights, that little statement, right? You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney. If you can't afford one will be appointed. Anything you say will be used against you. That's an amalgamation of like your Fifth Amendment rights, your Sixth Amendment rights, maybe even your Eighth Amendment. So they're not telling you, hey, this part's the Fifth and this part's the Sixth, but they're just putting together a statement that kind of summarizes all of those rights together. And so number five, how is this important? And hopefully that should be fairly easy for you guys from some of the research out there. What's the impact of this case? and I mean, Miranda is hugely important, but I think all of them, you guys have all picked interesting cases, you know, even if it's an important to a small portion. Like I know I have the team doing a family law issue, but it's still, it's had an impact maybe on that area of family law. So some of you have like Miranda, maybe one of the most famous cases. I think we've got Brown versus Board of Education. A few others that are like everyone on the planet almost knows, but every case, you know, has been important in its arena. Let me look at the chats here too. Okay. So if you, so hopefully that, I mean, does that help you guys kind of walk through like what you know, so some of that I've put up, literally you guys, the resources I've given to you, you can probably go through them in like a half hour, you know, give them, some of them it's a quick read here and there. I've tried to add a video for everybody so that you can have an easy video to watch. But for most of you, you guys, there is endless information and you are welcome to do additional research. You probably should, you know, find additional little videos or infographics or anything out there you like. And the more famous cases will have even more, but certainly what I've put up, it should be more than enough to get you started, you know, so that maybe you can come back to me and go, wow, I'm like, you know, Roger and I had a discussion this morning because he's got a little bit of an interesting case with what court it started in. And we kind of got to the bottom of that. So you might have some kind of specific little ticky-tack questions that I can help you with, but I need you to dive in, you know, so that you can be ready to ask those questions like as they're arising. So let me go back over here. So I've got a couple more people that joined and let me see. So remember, even if you're by yourself, I've still created a group page for you. And let me check who's in Korematsu because I added a bunch of people that hadn't picked anything yet. Okay, I don't. So Johnny, Morgan, you guys are in Korematsu. Is anyone else not certain what group they're in? Let's see here. Do you all know how to access the groups? Has that been a challenge for anybody? Let me share the screen again. So I'm a professor, so my view is a little different, but the maroon toolbar, okay, can you guys all see that? Is that showing up? The maroon toolbar, at some point when you scroll down, it'll say groups. And even if you're by yourself, click on that group and then you'll see court process, right? And that's your little group page. And what's nice is you can do all kinds of stuff, right? You can, like, let me go to, I'll go to Korematsu since I've got that one open. It's super fun. So you'll see your homepage. So what's cool about this, right? You can post announcements to each other. You can make a pages. You can see who's in the group. You can open a discussion. You can share files. You could even host your own conference, right, with each other, okay? And then I have posted an announcement, I think for every group at this point, but if not, shoot me an email. So right here for Korematsu, I've given you 3 or 4 web pages plus kind of like a fun video. And there's a ton. I mean, Korematsu, I think it just had its 60th anniversary a couple of years ago. So there's been a lot written about Korematsu. This is the famous case about the internment, or, I mean, no one knows what that word means, putting Japanese people in war camps, prison camps. Yeah.
Wow.
And George Takei, that famous kind of actor who's really big on Facebook, he was in Star Trek, Sulu. So he's older, but when he was a little boy, he was one of the families, and these were American citizens that were taken literally by force out of their homes and moved to these prison camps all over the Western United States. And it was really after Pearl Harbor, like people were like, oh, you know, Japan did this, so maybe Japanese people or secret spies or something. So the whole thing is a incredibly shocking. It's hard to even quantify just how shocking, but it really did impact California greatly. Palm Desert is where some of the prison camps were that the people lived, as well as like Arizona, Utah, like all over the Western United States. But so we have some interesting history here. And this was, you know, I think the 40s, maybe into the earth. I think it might have ended by like 50 something, but I'm not sure. I'd have to look at a couple of these, but really shocking. And to hear a couple amazing documentaries. Now I'm going down the rabbit hole, but at any rate, so there's been a lot done about that. But what I want to show you is like how cool your group page is. So even if you're by yourself, but anyway, so you have all these features that you just guys can use by yourself. So you could share files, you could work on a Google Doc together, and then you as a group can decide however you want to do this. Do you want to make a PowerPoint? Do you want to do Google Slides? Do you just want to do like a Word document notes page? Do you want to get really crazy, do a Prezi? Do you want to put together a little movie or something, or have some movie clips? I don't know, whatever you want to do. Put something together to teach all the rest of us about your case. And whether you just want to kind of go directly through the questions I gave you or put it in your own format, but teach us about the case, what it is and why it's important. And that'll be really cool. So yeah. Any questions on all of that? I know that's a lot. Let's see here. And so you all should be in a group. If you are not in a group, please, please, please tell me immediately so that I can get you in a group, okay? Or, even if you're by yourself. Even if you're in a group of one, because we have a few people who are by themselves, yeah, which is fine. You can be by yourself. I'm trying to think. I think everyone here today is in a group, or there at least have a case assigned. So, right. I'm trying not to be. Does anyone? I feel like it's more if you're on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, right? Do you recognize like all this business? Like whenever the Instagrammers are going live, they're just constantly fixing their hair. Like stop fixing your hair and talking to us. Love all the Instagrammers. Love you. At any rate, so try not to fix my hair. It's hard because you can see yourself. Oh, you guys know you can hide yourself. Actually, there's all kinds of cool things you can do. You can when you're doing this, you can have the whole thing open, but then you can hide yourself but you don't have to see yourself, which is kind of cool. So if you're really like, it just pains me to look at myself. You can actually hide, you can hide your screen, even though like other people will still see you. Does that make sense? You can hide yourself. It's like I just hid myself. So I think you guys can still see me, but I can no longer see me. So I won't know if I have like a weird hair. And so now I'm not looking at myself. So there you go. Any other questions? Wonder how I get myself back. I'm hidden. There I am. Okay. But I love my fake background. Oh, and I added a new one, you guys. I debuted it yesterday. So tell me if you recognize this.
Is that where we had our orientation?
Yes. It's A130. I found a random picture of A130 on the internet and I downloaded it. And so for a meeting with faculty, I had this as my background yesterday or the day before. And people were like, oh my gosh, are you at campus? What's happening? Like I'm getting all these chats. I'm like, no, fools. It's called a virtual background. I'm not at campus right now. But it like totally tripped everybody out because a lot of them don't even know you can have a virtual background. And then this one, I have to flip it though. Do you guys recognize this one? Now it's like the other side. Because it depends how much we've been in the library. This is the library.
Oh.
Santa Ana College. I'm coming to you from the library with our like amazing mural. But any rate, and then if things get spicy, I can drop fireworks if I need to. But I think I like my law library the most so far. Any rate, yeah, now my hair's weird again. Okay, so I got to turn off my video. I'm looking at myself. What else? That's kind of all I have for you guys. It's just a bit of like a check-in and walking you through because I'm a little scared that no one's working on the court process assignment, which I understand. Times are tough right now. So my thought would be to let you guys go early. I know it's crazy, huh? And then, because like, where are we gonna go? But we'll end the Zoom early and you guys can get crack-a-lackin'. I feel like I've showed you it so many times that we should be good to go.
Last question, teacher. How many slides are you how many slides are you looking at?
Yeah, there's not like a set limit. So it could be, it's maybe 3 or 4. I mean, at least, I don't know, maybe, I mean, you at least need probably 3, you know, something like introduce the case and then what happened, but you could split it up however you want. There's not, it's kind of open, not like to punish you, but to make it easy. So if 3 slides gets it done, you could do that. If, you know, but you, I mean, you know, you might need to make a few more, but.
And mine's complicated because there's all these, you know, presidential acts that are going in.
Yeah. So it's like, you might want to, for you, you might have a slide for each different piece, you know.
Yeah.
It just, and you know, somebody else, you might want to, if you found a cool video, maybe you add that in, or a cool graphic. It just sort of depends. The more famous of the cases, like yours is a little bit trickier because it's famous, but it's not one that, you know, has been written about extensively for like education. But the more famous ones, there will be, you know, almost like just a complete wealth of information. So yeah. And then let's see here. We've got, I think I see Kelly. She's just connecting to the audio. Let's see here. Who else? Oh, we got Kelly and Maria coming on in. Any rate, so let me get them. I want to make sure, but and I'll definitely post this recording for you guys.
I had a quick question about the LSAT prep, just out of curiosity. Is there supposed to be a returned link that you get sent back on email or something? Or
I think you just register. Let me go to the email. Like I myself, I'm not sure. Let me look. And that is great. So it's posted in the announcements, you guys, that on Monday, we're having a webinar with PowerScore about the LSAT. So that's cool. And if I can find my thingamajig, I'm talking to myself now. Anyway, so we're having a webinar with PowerScore, and I posted the link in there in the announcement and the little flyer. So let me tell you, let me fill it out and then I'll tell you. So first name, so you just fill it out because it's through their, you know, it's like their webinar. Okay, and then sign up. So I'll tell you, it could be that you don't get anything until like the day of or something, but I can email them and ask them. So go ahead and sign up for that because that will be our class on, I can't think what day, on Monday. There we go, on Monday the 27th. So Monday, that will be our class. Okay. And I maybe I'll see if I can like Zoom it at the same time, but do the little link on the announcement to join the webinar. I've lost class. There we go. And yeah, we'll go from there. And let's see here. And Kelly, hi Kelly, hi Maria. Kelly, hi. You are in, so Kelly, you're in Korematsu for the court process. So make sure that I just posted some resources for you guys. So make sure you look at that one. And yeah, I'm just trying to make sure that, because a few people hadn't joined a group yet. So I just made a judgment call. And unless you tell me otherwise, you're in that one. And you may want to go back, and I'm going to post today's Zoom and watch this to kind of, because I went over a little bit about what we're looking for that. So my plan is just to kind of end a little early. I don't know, unless you guys have more questions, with the hope, like fingers crossed, that you will take the time to look at the items I've posted in your group page for you. Like start with those, right? It's usually the case, and maybe a couple other links, and go through that. So any other specific questions or problems you guys need help with? You can chat me, you can message me. Oh, so let's see, chat your name for attendance. And I think I found out that even Zoom has like it has a thing that it will send me of everyone who was in, but at any rate, just in case, chat your name for attendance. And then and so we'll probably end a little early, if that's fine. Oh, I always say Sochi, Alejandra. Sorry, hi Alejandra. And you know, you can like change your name. Well, I don't know if you can, I think you can change your name on your settings. But one of my classes, someone was like trying to change it to LeBron James. And so then I had to like prevent that. Like I can't have LeBron James commenting in class, but Oh, side note, I'm going to stop the recording. So any questions about the assignment otherwise, and if I know a couple of people just jumped in, I definitely say I'll post the recording, go back and watch that. And I'm going to give everybody a second, and then I'm going to turn off the recording. But let's see here. A little heater going. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to stop the recording.